Steve, I have a question for the class-wise parent who's looking at, okay, my son or daughter may grow a couple inches while still in this pad. What are some ideas combining where the knee cradle lands and then also with a plus size that allows them to grow into the pad slightly but also doesn't hinder them from being mobile in the crease?
Okay, and that's a really important concern for parents is, can I get 2 years out of the pads? And for the most part, you can, but the one thing I really want you to guard against is buying pads that are too big for your son or daughter. When you put somebody in a pair of pads that's too big, they don't play their best. They're worried about they're not going to fall, you know, in that knee cradle anymore, so they will be unbalanced in that first year. Now in the second year, they might play better. But what I want you to do when you're buying a set of pads is make sure that the knee's safe, even at whatever height they are today. Don't buy it where they're gonna roll off it, because you still have, it doesn't matter to me if your knee, like say your knee came to right here to the top, that would be very safe. But if you grow and your knee comes up even higher, that's not a bad thing. That won't hurt your play, that won't inhibit how you play the game. So a pad that actually where your knee comes even higher up than the perfect fit in the knee cradle, that's not a downside. A knee that comes too low in the knee cradle is a really bad thing. So buy it to fit today, let them grow into it, and let their knee move up as it goes into that knee cradle. Now, the downside is they grow up and their knee gets too high. Now they've become so big that they could, when they get into their full V, that they may not be able to get it closed as well because the pad is too short for them. But that's the secondary issue, and it'll still be fine for a 2-year period, even for these kids that grow like weeds, you know, the 2 or 3 inches, you know, in a year. So that's really what I look for in fitting, is that knee cradle and then how high up it comes on your thigh. Now I don't mind if a kid likes the knee, likes his pad to come real high on him. That doesn't bother me as long as the knee cradle fits him perfect. There's a happy medium in there somewhere where it doesn't interfere with your pants, where it doesn't interfere with, like, you might overlap. We don't have these going the right way, but if you're too far overlap, then you won't be as efficient on the ice if you have too much pad on the ice. So there's a point of diminishing returns with going tall, but that's really more a personal preference. Third aspect of fitting is the boot, what we call the scoop. So in a skate, like if you're a kid that wears a size 11 skate and you're in a 32-inch pad, that could be an issue for you. We have a typical measurement that we use for the scoop when it comes for each size. So we're guessing that someone that wears a 32-inch pad is going to wear a skate size somewhere between like a 4 and a 7. So we build that scoop to fit the sizes of the kids that we think. So in a 34+1, we're guessing that that player is going to wear a skate somewhere between probably a 7 and a 9.5 or a 10. So what you don't want to have happen is you don't want the pad to come back too high up on their skate, or if your skate is too big for the boot, what tends to happen is it pulls the pad down and pushes it up to the front here, thus causing a gap in between the pad and your skate. So that measurement is pretty much taken care of, because as all manufacturers, as we've gone over the years, we've adapted our scoop size or our boot size based on the size of the skate that we think that person would wear. But that would be your third fitting issue.
Excellent. Well, there you have it. You have 3 key components to sizing your pads. When you go online to shop or when you go to your local retailer, please have those key points in mind. Your boot size, your knee cradle, and the particulars is where you want your knee to land, and then also the differences between the +1, +2. Steve, thanks for your insight.
Well, thank you.